Okay, hello. My name is Carl Wellborn. I'm the founder and executive director of the nonprofit called Friends of ITN Detroit, doing business as Independence Rides. Our mission is to provide dignified rides for seniors and vision impaired adults. And we operate in Detroit and the close suburbs in the metro area. My reason for being here is I've had several different experiences, mostly good, with the Attorney General's office in my attempt to become legal and have the correct, licenses and so on in place to be able to solicit funds for the nonprofit. And so I was asked to kind of share my experiences, or at least the high points, with you. For those of you who haven't gone down this journey, I think I can probably save you a couple of issues and detours that I ran through. So effectively, I guess the first thing would be to say that for our organization in particular, we have technically been around since mid-2018, but really didn't have a lot of the functional and licenses and a lot of those things in place until early 19, which of course was the beginning of COVID. And along with COVID came several organizations that struggled with people to be able to do things like answer phones and help people like me doing what I was trying to do. So I never actually talked to anyone live at the Attorney General's office, but I'm happy to say that the Attorney General's website is a rich place to be. It's got all kinds of information. They've done a great job of collecting details and links and background and forms and so on, such that I was able to get everything done online and then keep myself compliant as we operated. In fact, most of our existence has been operating through COVID. So I did that all online and through email. And so I'd like to share some of those details with you. The most difficult part of that whole journey was actually just finding the right information on this rich website. So I'm going to save you the trouble, for those of you who haven't gone through this yet, of digging and getting lost like I did. I know that there are organizations out there that can school me a bit on how to do things, but for those of you who are just getting into this, hopefully this will be a benefit to you. So the first thing I'll say is that if you are a nonprofit, 501c3 in particular, from my perspective, in the state of Michigan, in most cases, you will need to be registered as a charitable trust with the Attorney General's office. This is definitely true if you collect $25,000 or more in a year. In fact, it can just be over a 12-month period from July to June. It doesn't matter if you get more than $25,000 in the 12-month period. You have to be connected and registered with the Attorney General in order to legally receive those funds. My suggestion would be that if you're a 501c3 in Michigan, you should do that anyway, because there's several other little nooks and crannies where even if you're not soliciting funds, you should be registered with the Attorney General's office. So how do you do that? First thing is I'll walk you through detail-wise how to get to the correct page, I believe, to get the best information to do that simply. And so the first place you want to go is michigan.gov/AG. That's michigan.gov, G-O-V/AG. That will take you to the Department of Attorney General website. And from there, right at the top, you'll see in the link ribbon there, the word About. So you want to click on that word About. Now, very close to the top of that section on the left, where you see another collection of links, you'll go to Charitable Trust, also on the left. And when you do that, on the right side of the page appears a kind of a simplified summary of what the Charitable Trust section of the Attorney General's office does. But you don't want to stop there. You want to go to now, at the top of the page, go to Charitable Trust. You want to hit that link that says go to at the top of the page on the right. There we are. Yeah, go to Charitable trust. That's it. Okay, so now you get a little more detail about the charitable trust portion of the AG's office. This has got some links and some useful information as well, but you don't want to stop here. From here, you want to scroll down roughly halfway down the page, looking for the link that says Learn More. And there it is with the green background right there. Yeah. Now, this is where you really want to be, the frequently asked questions page. This is where the richness, ultimately, I found was such that you really don't need to talk to someone live. Most of the questions that I had, well, in fact, all of the questions I had were answered here, and you may find the same thing true for you. It's broken up, as you can see, in 4 different sections: general questions, donor questions, charity professional fundraisers, and public safety questions, and then trust questions. The section that will be most useful to those of us involved with the Michigan Nonprofit Relief Fund is the charity and professional fundraiser and public safety section. So if you click on that, that really just takes you down the page to that section of the whole page. And so a lot of questions in here that will be answered in pretty good detail. That first paragraph, in fact, describes what I shared with you in the beginning about needing to be registered and have a license from the Attorney General to collect funds, especially $25,000 or more. But in that second paragraph, there's another link that says Charitable Trust. And if you click on that link, it will just give you some more details, more links that for some of you will be important. So I just wanted to point that out. But now we can go back to the page that we were on. And then if you go back to the top, where we saw the 4 sections, another portion of this page that I think will be important for many of you, if not most of you, is the third link down that says Charity Professional Fundraisers. This is the place, I'm sorry, the one just above that, donor questions, right? This is the place where the public, effectively anyone who is considering donating money to you, will go to kind of check you out, to see if you're legitimate, if you're actually registered as a 501c3, let alone as or with the Attorney General's office. I wanted to highlight this because this is a good place to go to kind of check what other people see when they look for you. So in that second paragraph, you'll see the link that says AG Charity Search. You click on that, and what you get is a description of what this search page is all about. So you want to read through that, read the disclaimer, and then down at the bottom where it says, I have read the disclaimer, you want to click that link as well. And when you click that, you'll see the place where you can now add the information to be able to search for any given 501c3 or organization. What I found to be the easiest is to just fill in the EIN number. That's the employer information number for your organization. What that'll do is it will tell you what your status is. Basically, if you're all set and you're licensed and so on and so forth, it will tell you that in the second screen. If you're not, it will tell you that. If you're not even in the system, it'll tell you that also. And those are really important things, because depending on how old you are as an organization, how many people have been involved with setting these things up, this will give you a status, excuse me, a status of what the public sees when they go looking for you. And so you want to make sure that this is all up to date and good. For my organization, I found a few typos, so I'll need to go in and clean those up. But effectively, that is the main part of what I wanted to share with you. For my experience, especially during the dark days of COVID, when I literally couldn't find anybody live to get some of the answers to my questions, this was a very rich resource for me. If you have owned Adobe Reader software on your computer, you can copy the Attorney General's frequently asked questions page into a nice PDF that you can save. All the links will remain, So it'll be a rich resource that you can go back and forth to as much as you need, even if you're not online, and keep yourself up to date. Again, if you're a 501c3 in the state of Michigan, legally, you are likely to need to be registered here and have a license to receive money. And my 2 cents would be to that you do that in case, for instance, even if you don't solicit, some rich person that wants to support your cause because it's just really heartfelt for them showing up at your door with $25,000 or more dollars, you want to be ready to receive that. And legally you can't if you're not registered. So that's my 2 cents. If there are any questions, I can be reached at, or I guess I'm on the list. So everyone involved with the Nonprofit Relief Fund will be able to catch me. Again, that's Independence Rides. My name is Carl Wellborn, and thank you for the time. Okay, so just in case there are those that have the situation where you were registered at one point, but that registration has lapsed, or you've never registered, specifically, how do you get that corrected? Just want to walk through some details about what I would suggest is the easiest way to kind of get that journey started. And so again, we're back at the Michigan Department of Attorney General's website. We'll go, excuse me, we'll go to at the top of the page in the click ribbon about, as we did before. We'll go down to Charitable Trust also. We get the quick summary on the right, and just as we did before, we want to go back to the top that says go to Charitable Trust. Yep. And now on this page, as we scroll down, keep an eye on the right side of the page, and you'll see questions, for instance, on the left side that says, does my organization need to be registered to solicit in Michigan? Just to the right of that paragraph, of those paragraphs, you'll see basically the steps to get that situation corrected. There's the initial solicitation form if you've never registered. There's the renewal form if you have registered, but now it's gotten expired. And then there's the form for exemptions. Let's say you're an organization that fits the qualifications of one that doesn't have to be registered. I would really encourage everyone to read that one just to make sure where you fall in this categories, because you may not need to be registered, but you need to make sure that that's the case for you. If that's not the case for you, then CTS 01, CTS 02 are going to be very important for you to get registered. Now, this is especially important if you are not currently registered and licensed and you have been receiving funds, or if you expect to receive money from the relief fund. All of those situations, and probably some more, mean that you should be registered. So I would start with these top two forms to make sure you know where you are. This probably doesn't apply to most people, but CTO4, dissolution questionnaire, that is if the organization is being dismantled, taken apart, closed. That doesn't apply to what we're doing here. However, if you look through that, it'll kind of give you an idea of the seriousness that's involved when it comes down to the public's money and our management of that money. So it's just for your reference.